Cheese. All right, and welcome back to That's Some Cheese, part of the Vendetta Sports Podcast Network. Today is March 1st, 2021, episode 100. We have special guest Kenneth Giles, who is the CEO of SimBull. Kenneth, how are you? What's going on?
Good. Congratulations on 100 episodes. I didn't even realize that. It's a really special occasion. Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. Always excited to talk about SimBull.
Yeah, so episode 100, we have our guy here, Kenneth Giles, and we're going to be going over the little partnership we came to agree with. We are going to be partnering with SimBull, and they are basically the sports stock market. I am absolutely thrilled with this idea, and more so than anything, I'm just happy to get on the ground floor with this because I love sports, but I don't always like investing in the stock market because I don't know what I'm investing in. Any sports fan should be like, hey, I know what I'm investing in.
Yeah, exactly. And that's actually one of the core reasons we made it. I have a lot of friends of mine who basically gamble in the stock market. You know, they can't tell you the earnings of a company they're investing in, but they can tell you that the Jaguars have 80 million cap space and 2 first-round draft picks.
Right.
So that was kind of the inspiration behind of why don't we make something that sports fans can actually invest in and have the edge over, you know, the suits and all the hedge funds in the stock market. Instead of dealing with those, why don't you just invest in sports?
What was the moment you sat there and like, wow, this could be something special? Like, what was the light bulb moment?
So we developed this back last March, and that's kind of when the first idea came about. I was doing what most NFL fans do, and I was watching the NFL Combine, and me and my co-founder now we're talking about like, man, wouldn't it be cool to invest in a team that Joe Burrow is going to get drafted by? Cincinnati Bengals 2-14, they're terrible, but Joe Burrow is going to turn them around. Wouldn't it be cool to invest in them? And that was kind of the start. Over the course of the summer, we started kind of building out a mock-up, doing some beta testing, and we got really good feedback. And I would say the moment that it clicked, and I don't know if it's still fully clicked yet, because every single day I'm like, okay, how do we make this next big thing? How do we make this next big thing? But I'd say the moment that it clicked is I was actually working full-time, and I had SimBull on the side. And one day I logged on, I'm like, oh my God, we just got 10 new users, and I didn't do anything. I didn't share anything. I didn't post anything. They just came. And we contacted them, said, hey, how'd you hear about it? They said, hey, one of our friends let us know about it. It's a super cool idea. We love it. We wanted to get in on it right away. And I was like, man, like this is growing organically. We don't even have to advertise, and people are already starting to join the market just because they heard about it. That's when it kind of clicked of like, this has a broad appeal to a lot of people, not just people who invest, not just sports fans, right? This has a broad appeal to people of all ages, which is really exciting for us.
One of the things I asked you during our first business call was, how do you get the price? Because to me, that was the most fascinating part where, okay, maybe there's an algorithm somebody can figure out and they can kind of cheat the system, but there isn't. It's just the way the market is. And that's to me is the most fascinating part of this.
Yeah, so I can give you a quick background on that. So as you mentioned, the prices in our market are solely determined by the market. Whatever a user is willing to pay for a share, that's what the share is worth. Whatever user is willing to sell one of their shares for, that's what the share is worth, which makes it really exciting for us because it creates a really fair environment for everyone. We're not manipulating prices. It's just whatever people, determine what the prices are. Now, how are the prices made? Well, for every time a team you own wins a game, let's say NFL or Sim NFL, for example, every time the Sim Packers win a game and you own a share of the Packers, you will get a win payout. So what users are really doing is they're saying, okay, how do I value these win payouts, right? A team that wins more is worth a lot more money to me. But the real key to SimBull, to having success in SimBull, is being able to predict how many wins a team is going to get. That's really all it takes.
Yeah. So I didn't even sign up yet because I wanted to pick your brain first before I really dove into the market. Talk to me about like, okay, I'm just starting out. What are the basics I really need to know?
Yeah, exactly. So as you go in, you'll be able to see the trading block, which will have every single team in the Sim NBA and the Sim NFL. You can scroll through the prices, see what the current prices are. As I mentioned, the biggest thing is simply predicting how well a team is going to do compared to other teams that are around their value. So, for example, a great example right now is the Sim Vikings and the Sim Bears in the NFC North. They are about the same price. Basic market principles tell you, okay, I want to own the team that is going to win more games. So in my head, do I value the Sim Vikings higher or the Sim Bears higher? Well, that's completely up to you, right? Some people have the Bears getting Russell Wilson. That team is worth a lot of money with Russell Wilson. Some people have, the Vikings trading Kirk Cousins. How does that affect their share price? So it's all about you being able to predict which teams are going to win the most games. And I will say there's two ways to make money in the market. So the first is those win payouts, as I mentioned, where every time a team you own wins a game, you earn that cash win payout. That's the first way to make money. The second way to make money is share price appreciation. Just like in the stock market, you can buy low and sell high. So if you find a team that, hey, maybe they're not the best right now, they're valued pretty cheap. For example, the Cincinnati Bengals, right? They're not the most expensive team because I think they won 4 games last year. But if you believe Joe Burrow is going to be a top 5 quarterback, their price could be doubled in a year or 2 years from now. So that's the other way to make money, is finding teams that are undervalued and then waiting for them to appreciate and then sell for a profit.
Yeah, one of the things I'm most excited about is I'm a Red Sox fan, and they're kind of down in the dumps right now, but historically they kind of have these big peaks. So this would be the perfect time for me to actually find a team that I like and say, hey, I'm excited not only when they win, but when they're going to be better 2 years from now.
Exactly. And that's what's exciting too, right? So for example, the Sim Yankees are the most expensive team in the Sim MLB right now, right? They're going to win 110 games. They're going to make it, a deep run in the playoffs.
Well,
they are. They are.
It hurts my heart.
So that's an example of a team that's going to earn you a lot of win payouts, right? They're priced high. They're going to get a lot of wins. So they're going to earn you that cash that gets deposited right into your account, right? That's a good investment. Now, a different style of investing is looking for that share price appreciation. As you mentioned, the Sim Red Sox, not going to have the best year most likely. So you can invest for them for about half the price of the Yankees. And if they become a better team in the next 2 years, they could be worth the same amount, right? They could double in price over the next 2 years. So there's two styles of investing, and you just have to determine what type of investor you are.
Yeah, I'm sort of looking at this from because when I was a kid, I really wanted to be a GM. I guess most kids do, but you're almost kind of investing in those type of people. Like, hey, which guy do I believe can build the best team in 2 years, right? Because you're not just like looking, hey, what's a good team now? You're almost sort of investing in people you believe that are good team builders too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's really exciting about our market, right? So a team like, take the New England Patriots, for example, right? They had the dynasty run. They had 20 years where they were unstoppable, right? Tom Brady leaves, they have a down year. Now, when you're investing in a company, in the actual stock market, you're looking for stable companies, good leadership. Don't spend ridiculous amounts of money, right? They are a good foundational leader. That's how I kind of describe the New England Patriots. If you're investing in a team, do you trust Bill Belichick to build a winning team in the next 5 years more than, let's say, the Detroit Lions? Probably, right? So a lot of what you're investing in is, hey, is this franchise functional? Will they be good for the next 5 years, the next 10 years? If you're investing in the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers is most likely going to either retire or leave the Packers in the next 2 years. The great thing about investors for the Packers is they are a very well run organization, right? They don't really mess up. They find their quarterbacks. They plan for the future. So if you're an investor, a team like the Packers is a great example of a team to invest in, because you can trust that their front office isn't going to mess up. They don't go through coaches year after year after year. They don't go through GMs year after year after year. So as an investor, that's what you're looking for, is stability.
That says a lot. You're a Minnesota guy too, right? You should hate them.
It's actually funny. So I'm a diehard Green Bay Packers. So I had to throw that in there. So I am a little biased on that, but
okay. That's funny. One of the things I do want to ask you, I don't even know if you touched on this, but you don't lose money if the team loses. So that's one of the things I wanted to bring up too, because a lot of times the biggest problem with gambling is, oh my God, I just lost $100 because my team lost, or I bet on this UFC fight and this fighter lost. So there goes another $100. And you were saying in your intro video that you considered yourself a good gambler, but at the end of the year, like, wow, I didn't make any money.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why I built this. So I'm a math analytics guy. I studied mathematics in college. I was also big into sports gambling. I loved it. I would build these models. I would have all the data. I would, I was going to beat the book. I was going to be the next big thing, right? And going to Vegas, all this stuff. And I tracked all my bets for 3 years. I built model after model after model. After 3 years, I was exactly even. And I'm like, that's absolutely ridiculous. I'm definitely better than 50% of gamblers. I'm probably better than 90% of gamblers, but I was exactly even. And that's why I built SimBull, right? Our platform offers an even playing field. Instead of betting $11 to win $10, which puts you at a 10% deficit right off the bat, we operate as an even playing field. So if you are better at predicting than 50% of the market, odds are you're going to make money, right? So that's the first thing. But to touch on what you're talking about on you don't lose money, that's the thing that we're really proud about, actually. So as I mentioned, there's two ways to make money. You have your win payouts, right? So every time a team you own wins, you earn that win payout. And that's cash that's deposited right into your account. If a team you own loses, you don't lose anything because you're not wagering anything on any event. You're investing in a team, right? If a company has a bad quarter, it's not like they're taking more money from you, right? That's not how it works, right? So the great thing is you have the upside of, hey, if a team wins, you earn that cash. If a team loses, you don't lose anything from us. Now, I will caveat that by saying if a team goes on a bad stretch or a key player gets hurt, the market could value your team as less valuable, right? And that's where you could have that share price depreciation, right? Your share price goes down in value because the market doesn't value you as high anymore. But we're not taking that from you. That's just the market determining that your share is not as valuable anymore. So that's why our market-based system works so well.
One of the things I love more than anything is I love fantasy. I love maybe fantasy more than my own teams. And we can cut this. I don't even know if this is an idea on the table, but is there going to be a point where, hey, I want to invest in LeBron James, I want to invest in Kevin Durant, or how would that even happen? Is that
absolutely.
something in the works?
That is something in the works. It's probably not going to come in the next year or so. That will be, after we launch all the major sports. Right now we have Sim NBA, Sim NFL, Sim MLB. Once we get to the college sports, once we get the other major sports in there, we'll move on to the players. That gets a little bit trickier because you have to deal with the Players Association and image and likeness and stuff like that. But that is in the plans for the future.
I'm also a big hockey guy now. Is hockey in the works too?
Hockey is in the works for next season. Unfortunately, we had some other stuff that were priorities for this winter. Sim NBA and Sim MLB, slightly bigger markets than hockey. So hockey will be coming next year.
The following is brought to you in partnership by SimBull. SimBull is a new sports marketplace where you can trade shares of professional teams like stocks. You love sports. You interested in fantasy sports without the weekly annoyance of fantasy league upkeep? Then SimBull's the app for you. With SimBull, fantasy sports is going to a whole other level. How it works is simple. You buy SimBull shares for your favorite sim teams on the app. When your sim team wins, you get automatic cash deposits, and you don't lose any money when they lose. That's it. So if you follow trends across football, basketball, hockey, and coming soon baseball, and you think your team is a sleeper, simply invest in your favorite sim teams on SimBull and watch your virtual portfolio prove you right or wrong. And if you want to get in on the action right away, Vendetta Sports Media's got you covered. Go to simbull.app/Vendetta and use our exclusive promo code Vendetta, and you'll get a $10 bonus when making your first deposit. SimBull, taking fantasy sports to a whole other level.
Producer Alex, do you have anything you want to ask?
Yeah. So where are you still working? Is this full-time SimBull right now?
Yep, I'm full-time into SimBull. Yep, me and my two co-founders are all full-time into SimBull, making this the next big thing.
And what were you doing before this? Like, I know you were saying earlier that you said you were doing SimBull kind of part-time. What was that full-time job during this startup?
Yeah, a lot of your listeners probably won't know what it is, but I was working full-time as an actuary. So an actuary is a blend between risk management, mathematics, business, analytics. So I was working at a life insurance company, actually developing life insurance products. So that's my background, sort of the investing kind of product side. And that led right into SimBull, the same thing of, hey, when we launched this, we had to price the shares, right? We had to develop a market, right? Same principles, just in my opinion, a more fun industry.
Now, can you talk a little bit about that moment when you realized I don't have to be doing this anymore? I can go full-time to SimBull? You might have touched on it, but
yeah, honestly, I think the biggest thing for me is I was working full time, making good money, making a living. It was something that I had been planning for 3 or 4 years. I'd interned as an actuary. It's something that I was planning for. And during all the COVID stuff, when me and my co-founder kind of had the birth idea of SimBull, that was in the spring, and we started developing in the summer. And then I went to work full time, right? And that's when I started realizing I was doing a job that I didn't fully love. I was sitting behind a desk doing a cubicle. I was pricing a life insurance product that I didn't really care about. And in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, how do we make SimBull big? All right, how do we gain users? How do we create the best user experience? So all that was going on in the back of my head, and I realized, what's the point of doing something that I didn't love to do? If I had something I was really passionate about behind me, like, why not go for it? So I worked for a couple more months just to, make sure my bank account was okay, make sure SimBull was going well. And finally, after I think I only worked for 3 months full time. After my third month, I'm like, what am I waiting for? Right? The time is now. Like, I have an idea. I believe it can work. I can take the chance for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. If it doesn't work, at least I'll go to bed easy saying, I went for it and I did something I was passionate about. And that's what I'm really excited is SimBull. Yeah, it's a career now for me, but if I didn't invent SimBull, I'd want someone else to do it so I could participate, right? Because this blends two passion of mine, which is why we invented it, really.
Yeah, I love that. And just to your point there, I mean, do what you love and love what you do. And I know, Trey, that kind of can segue back to you where it's all about the passion. And we've had our debates on passion, but this is obviously a different feeling here.
And that's actually why, and to give a little bit of background about how Trey and I got hooked up, we were just looking for different people to partner with for SimBull, trying to grow the brand, right? Trying to get introduced to new audiences. And I talked to Trey about, what is Vendetta Media all about? And he was explaining about, like, he was studying economics, and then, he wasn't a big fan of that. So he moved into media, and all of a sudden he loved what he was doing, creating media. I'm like, that's the guy we need to partner with, because that's what we're doing, right? We're doing something we love. And clearly, Trey and yourself love what you guys are doing, which is why, it's 9:47 on a Monday and we're making a podcast.
Right. Yeah, I was just to make it full circle here. I'm a senior now in college, and my first 2 years I was a hospitality management student, and then after that sophomore year I was like, I always wanted to do this, but I just didn't think there was realistic opportunities there for me. And then it was like, to your point, I mean, if I was going to graduate in 2 years and have a degree that I didn't want, so it's either do it now or regret it the rest of your life. So
absolutely,
we're all kind of in that same boat.
Yeah, I was down on the economics path, and one day my dad sent me, "Hey, this website's trying out writers. Why don't you give it a shot?" And I won the contest, and then I got hired. I'm like, "Hey, I'm pretty good at this thing. Let's do it."
Yeah, absolutely, right? There's no better feeling than finding something you're passionate about, and then having validation of, hey, other people think I'm good at this too, or other people find value in what you're doing. So it's really exciting.
One of the things I want to mention too is with the partnership, we're going to be writing a bunch of blogs too about SimBull. We're going to give maybe our opinions on, hey, these are the teams to buy, or maybe these are the teams that if you're holding on to them, get rid of them, or something like that. So we're going to be doing a lot of content blogs. We're excited to do this thing. Last thing maybe I have on my list is there an app coming? Because I feel like maybe that would be something to add in the future.
Yep. There's an app in the works. I will say that. So we are developing it, iOS and Android. It'll be coming soon. I will say we do have a fully functional web app, desktop, laptop, tablet, computer. Right. That's why we started with the web app, is because it's so diverse. You can use it on every sort of device. But we are adding, Android and iOS apps in the future.
Is there any tricks of the trade, maybe people that are watching or listening? So maybe not like the best trick, but something under the radar that people don't really know.
Tricks of the trade for what's that?
For maybe buying a stock or things they should know about the product.
Yeah. Yes. I will say one thing I do always like to talk about is one of our biggest complaints that people have about SimBull is when they come talk to SimBull, they're like, oh man, like Sim NFL win payouts are only 50 cents per share per win, right? Like I got to invest $20 to, make 50 cents per win. What they don't understand is when you gamble, your return is on average going to be -5 to -10% in between there. When you invest in the S&P 500, if you're actually investing, your average return is going to be about 7%. If you can earn 50 cents on a $20 investment, which is a 2.5% return for one weekend in sports, that is a very, very, very good return, right? If the average NFL team costs $25, they win 8 games, you earn a $4 return off that. That is a very, very good return, right? We're not gambling where you're not going to gamble $20 and win $20 in a 3-hour period, right? That if that's what you're looking for, that's not for you. But what we are building is a platform that offers sustainability over time, right? So I would say that's one of the biggest things to know for us is our returns are really good. They're just going to happen over the course of a year, not in the course of 2 hours. Now, with that being said, there are teams that do double in value overnight. For example, the Indianapolis Colts traded for Carson Wentz. And for whatever reason, our market decided that they loved Carson Wentz and the Colts. So there you go. So the Sim Colts actually increased 30% in one day. So we had people that I think they bought them at $18 or $19. They sold them at $24 or $25. I think the Sim Colts are up to $30 now. Right. So you do have these big fluctuations where if you find the right team, you can earn big chunks of cash. But in general, our market is sustainable and long term. So when you're building your portfolio, keep that in mind. You want to find a mixture of teams that are going to earn you cash win payouts and a mixture of teams that are going to earn you high share price appreciation. I'm not in the market. If I was, I would be investing in the Sim Dolphins because I think the Sim Dolphins are going to be really good for a long time. I love Brian Flores. I think Tua may or may not be the guy, but if they go at number 3, they could draft another quarterback. Just a side note, Sim Dolphins, they're my pick.
Yeah, I have a lot. They have a ton of draft capital too. Ton of draft capital, total rebuild. Brian Flores looks like he knows what he's doing. I think one of the things I wanted to mention too is there's this army of day traders now. I don't know where it started, but it's kind of happened since the pandemic. To me, like just personally, I would want a team like the Jaguars. Let's see what Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence can do. But I know there's a lot of people that will want they want the quick little, I bought low, I sell high, and we'll keep doing it day after day.
The Sim Jaguars are really interesting if we're going to get into the details of teams, right? So the Sim Jaguars were priced at, I think they were the 32nd price team, right? 32nd, I think they were at like $16 or $17. Week 16, I think it was, maybe it was week 15, the New York Jets won. And that day, the Sim Jaguars increased by 25% simply because they were going to get a draft Trevor Lawrence. Now, what's funny about that is once the season ended, they continued to rise. They hire Urban Meyer. They fall 6%. For whatever reason,
Really?
people did not like the Urban Meyer hire one bit.
That's shocking to me.
What's funny about that is they recovered the next day and went back up. And now they're continuing to rise, essentially, right? So what's really interesting about these teams, basically, is you're going to have a team that's earning you no win payouts, right? The Jets, the Jaguars went 1-15. They earned you no win payouts. But all of a sudden, you held them just long enough, and all of a sudden, they increased by 40% in value overnight, right? Just because they got the first pick. So what's really exciting about our market is there is going to be value in every single team. You just got to be able to find it and pick it at the right time.
Yeah, maybe last thing I wanted to ask you is with the draft coming up, maybe this is too soon to talk about, but you almost kind of like predict who's going to have a good draft because once the teams make their picks, you're almost too late, right?
Yeah, well, absolutely. So it depends on how fast our market's going to react. I will say we have not gone through a draft yet, right? So we don't know what that night's going to be. I would assume it's going to be pretty hectic on the market, people trading, right? If there's a big blockbuster trade, say the Eagles move up to number 3 and take Justin Fields, right? There could be a lot of stuff that's going to go on, and you better be on top of it to be able to capture that. Now, one thing I will say, we do provide a really interesting value as far as like free agency and trades go. So, for example, you could bet that the Denver Broncos are going to trade for Deshaun Watson and get it at plus 130 odds, meaning you bet $20, you win $26 if they trade for Deshaun Watson, right? That's pretty interesting. On our market, you could invest in the Sim Broncos for $20. And if they don't trade for Deshaun Watson, they're not really going to go down in value at all. They're pretty much at the bottom of the league anyway, right? They're pretty much hit their bottom. If they do trade for Deshaun Watson, you better bet your ass that they're going to pretty much double in value overnight. So we do provide an interesting way to predict free agency and how it's going to fall. For example, no one really predicted that the Sim Cardinals were going to sign JJ Watt, but they just did that today, actually. And the Sim Cardinals increased by 10% in a day. Now, what we have started seeing is people put money into the Sim Broncos just because, hey, they might get Deshaun Watson. We've seen people put money into the Sim Bears because, hey, they might trade for Russell Wilson. So people are making these small little bets ahead of, hey, I have a hunch that this might happen, so I'm going to invest in them before they do, right? So we do have people that are trying to play that. Now, the draft will be really, really interesting to see how it falls, right? Let's say some crazy thing happens and the Sim Jaguars decide that they like Justin Fields because he went to Ohio State. Now, all of a sudden, how much money do you think is going to flow into that number 2 overall pick? Because now they have Trevor Lawrence, right? So there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen during free agency in the draft.
Maybe last thing on my end is the win payouts the same like playoffs, or is it just regular season?
Yeah, so win payouts do continue through the playoffs. They are the exact same value as the regular season, and the reason they're the same value is because if your team made the playoffs, they get more chances to earn win payouts. Right? So you're already getting extra value that other teams aren't getting by having a playoff team. So for example, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the Super Bowl. They won, what was it, 4 playoff games. So they earned their shareholders an extra $2, which is about a 25% increase from their regular season. So playoff teams do provide a lot of value. We're seeing NBA really take shape as the playoffs start taking shape. You can see money starting flowing into the top teams.
That's another team, Tampa. For like 4 years in a row, I'm like, God, Tampa had a good draft. Devin White was my favorite player at LSU. Chris Godwin in the 3rd round, he was awesome at Penn State. And Antoine Winfield had 7 picks at Minnesota. How'd they get him? And just kind of all came together.
Yeah, and see, this is what's really interesting about our market is I think the Sim Bucks they're definitely a top 5 price team. They might be number 3 or 4. What does their future really hold? Right? Like
Right.
how long does Tom Brady have, right? So you can invest in them and you'll earn win payouts immediately, right? Like I said, they earned a lot of win payouts last year for investors. They won 10 games plus 4 more in the playoffs, right? But what does their future really hold? Would you rather own the Sim Chargers and the Sim Dolphins with a young team that could increase in value, or the Sim Buccaneers, which will earn you win payouts immediately? One thing I will say is our market has tended to lean towards the top teams. If you look at the Sim Jazz and the Sim Lakers and the Sim Chiefs, they are priced way above the average. So our market has shown that they're willing to pay for a top team. The most successful users in our market will, okay, how can I find a middle team that's going to become a top team? Because that's where the real value will come into play.
Producer Alex, do you have anything else to add?
I was just going to say that, like, in terms of investing, if you think about that, we were just talking about Tampa. Imagine if you invested in literally the city of Tampa, because you had the Lightning. I know they're not on SimBull yet, but then you had the Rays as well, and then you have the Bucks. So it's
not even that. If you bought them when they had Winston with the first pick.
Right. And then the other thing is, so would you recommend kind of going for these teams, like these NFL teams, like, for example, we just talked about the Chargers, who aren't really doing that much right now? Would you recommend, since we're obviously out of season, maybe starting to make those investments now, or waiting until, because you want to buy low, right? You want to buy low, sell high. So would you recommend kind of going for those teams out of season right now, or kind of wait until something starts to happen?
I do have actually an interesting point on that. So right now, in our live market, we have the Sim NBA and Sim NFL. We price those leagues, and those leagues are designed to, the average team is going to earn you the same, right? The 16th best NFL team will earn you the exact same as the 15th best NBA team, right? Those are priced appropriately. But right now, what we see is the Sim NBA, the average team is priced about $5 higher than the average Sim NFL team. And that makes sense because Sim NBA teams are earning people win payouts and Sim NFL is out of season, right? So that makes sense. What we do see is there will be a change of money as leagues go into season and out of season, right? Towards the end of December, beginning of January, we saw money move out of the NFL and into the NBA because, again, the season's coming to a close, no more win payouts, so let's go to a league that's going to earn win payouts. So if you are interested in the NFL, now is the lowest, the cheapest that these shares are going to be, right? So if you are interested in the NFL, I would say invest now because we will see money shift over for free agency, for the draft, for next season. So if you are interested in the NFL, now is the time to invest. The other thing I would say on that is if you do like a team, right, if you like their future, right, if you fell in love with Tua or you fell in love with Herbert, now is 100% the time to invest in them because this is the cheapest you're ever going to get them, right? Worst case scenario, the Dolphins are priced a little bit higher, but the Chargers are priced at like the 18th, 19th, 20th best team. They're not really going to go down from there. So in my opinion, they're a pretty safe investment. All they have is upside. Now, if you look at a team like the Sim Packers, they have a lot more risk because you don't really know what you have in Jordan Love, right? Their price is the 3rd most expensive team. But once Aaron Rodgers retires, what's going to happen to that share price? It's up in the air. So what I would say, if you're a young investor and you're kind of nervous of, I don't really want to go in there and lose a bunch of money, I don't know exactly what I'm getting into, all this stuff, I would recommend, one, is buying your favorite team. That way you're aligned with your favorite team. Every time they win, you win, right? That's the most exciting thing about our market. You don't lose anything if your favorite team loses, but if they win, you're aligned with them and you get a win there. But what I would recommend is actually finding a team that you like for their future. They might be a little bit cheaper. They might not earn you the most win payouts now, but they're a lot less risk than a team that's priced at $40, $50, $60, right? If you can invest in the Chargers for $24 versus the Chiefs at 48, maybe you don't want to put in $50 and buy the Chiefs. I would recommend probably a lower team to get your foot in the door. Once you feel comfortable and you feel like you've got a feel for the market, then you can start diversifying your portfolio in different ways.
Yeah, one of the teams I'm looking at right now is Carolina, the Panthers. It could be a bad division in 2 years. Brady's getting old. Breeze is about to retire. The Saints are really over the cap, and Atlanta's down the toilet. If they were a team that would get Watson, wow.
And it sounds like they were making moves to do so. They actually apparently were in talks with I heard rumors that the 49ers offered a trade for Teddy Bridgewater today. I guess there was rumors that they wanted Bridgewater, which I don't know exactly what they would get in return there, but if they could gather another pick to ship off to Deshaun Watson, that's a really interesting team as well.
The Panthers are the one I'm looking at. Where can we not only can we find, or where we can find SimBull, but where can we find you as well on social media?
Yeah, so for SimBull, it's at SimBull Exchange. That's where you'll find most of our updates. We give recap updates. We'll be able to retweet stuff. Everyone is trading in our market. Our website is https://www.simbull.app. So that's .app. I don't do too much on my personal Twitter just yet because we're trying to grow the SimBull brand right now. But I actually don't even know my Twitter handle. That's probably bad. So I would focus on at SimBull Exchange right now. And then in the future, we'll develop a few more personalities. One thing I will say is we're starting to produce a lot of content with partners like you. We're really excited about this partnership because you'll be able to go to Vendetta Sports Media and find, hey, who is Trey eyeballing, right? Why is he eyeballing the Sim Panthers? What are his thoughts on that? What we're really excited about is starting to produce this more content to give content to our audience, right? We have an audience that's growing every single day that doesn't have a spot to go to get SimBull specific analysis. So we're really excited that we have partners like you who are going to start producing that content for us.
Absolutely. We're going to be doing a lot of content stuff. I'm going to be writing blogs. We have a couple other people I know that we have 3 posts that are already done, just waiting to get those published.
Awesome.
And also, producer Alex, can we put this on the video? It is the SimBull/Vendetta link. Can we get that on the screen there, Alex?
Yep. /Vendetta.
Yeah, we'll get that added on the screen for the video version. Do we have anything else to add, Kenneth? I just wanted to add that you are the most likable Ken Giles because
the pitcher for the Phillies didn't get it done for you.
Yeah. I used to work for the Iron Pigs and nobody liked him. So you are 100% the most likable Ken Giles.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah. Last thing I would say, hey, don't throw that promo code up on the screen. If you sign up with the promo code Vendetta, you get $10 to start your portfolio. Super easy. Deposit 10, get 10. You can buy a team. You can start building your portfolio with free money. So I would say get in now. Our market's growing. We're really excited about the growth. We'd love to have all your followers participate. The best market for us is an efficient market. So the more people we can get in the market, the better experience it'll be for everybody.
Awesome. That is CEO of SimBull, Kenneth Giles. Make sure to follow him. We'll get that added on the video. Myself, Trey Daubert, all day J.K. Dobbins in the producer booth. One last thing, I need to shout out the socials for the show. It is that some cheese minus the E for Twitter, right, Alex? And _ that some cheese for the Instagram. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube, and we will see you next time.